When it comes to raising baby chickens and baby ducks, there are loads of things you need to know. But I guess the most important thing is that you just need to try. You can do a bunch of research. Definitely research like what kind of food you need to buy them, what supplemented food they actually need when they're little ones. You can't just give them scraps, that's not enough. And you can't just give them seed, that's not enough. They need special pellets for growing and for nurturing all the good things that they need. It will come in pellet form and it's very easy to give them, and they will let you know when they're hungry. We usually feed them twice a day, and sometimes they do need some, like the ducklings need some extra niacin. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but we do give them basically extra B3. So sometimes they will show that they need that. They'll be a little bit wobbly, or they'll be just kind of lethargic and not doing much. Sometimes that is a sign that they need that, but definitely research it before you do that. Don't just give them a bunch of supplements until you know what you're doing. With our little baby ones, we actually just had the big mama, so big black mama, and the white mama. They are about just under a year old now, maybe like 9 months. So they both went broody around age of 6 to 9 months. And they basically just sat in their little coop and they wouldn't move. So this one was the first to go broody, and then the other one followed kind of just in the same way. If they don't have eggs, they will sit there. So that was their situation. They would lay an egg, but they would sit on it, and they would sit on it, and they would sit on it. And unfortunately, as you can imagine, it does hinder them quite some, especially in summer, because they won't really get up enough to eat or drink or move around, forage, or things they need to do. So we actually got some fertile eggs, put them under them, and they were already about 2 weeks done. So they were able to incubate them for the rest of the time, maybe another like week or two, and then they hatched. So because they are first time mums, they didn't actually hatch all of them. There were maybe 3 or 4 deaths and a couple other eggs that didn't hatch out of like maybe the 12 that I got. A couple of them I did need to help out. I do remember that I had to help the little black one out of the shell, and my friend was actually here to witness that, which was really, really special. You do have to do some research and kind of know what you're doing. I have grown up with chickens, but I'm still learning as I go. So one of them I knew I had to help out, and it was probably going to die if I didn't. They are first time mums, so it's kind of expected that they're not going to have the best hatch rate, and that's all part of it, unfortunately. But they are doing really, really well with their first little batch. Because we didn't hatch as many as I really would have liked, I actually went and got some baby chickens that were a day to a week old, and this little one just completely adopted them as if they were her own as soon as we did that. I really wish I got it on video, but it all just kind of happened. We weren't really sure how it was going to go, but they did really, really well. Silkies, which is what this breed is, are actually really well known to be great mothers and great incubators. So that is one of the reasons why we got them. I do love them so much because they're so fluffy and they have like the little fluffy heads. But that is one of them because I did want to have a few and I wanted the option, and now it looks like I'm really getting into wanting to breed them. Of course we can't really do it here because we do have neighbors, but once we get some land, I do want to get a rooster, and then we can just continue the whole cycle. There is so much to learn, and it's honestly such a fun process. It's not too expensive. I think the most upfront cost is just buying the 2 as adults. They are a lot more expensive as adults, which is why breeding them is kind of cool, especially because we put so much love and care into them, and they're our little children, honestly. My husband had zero clue what really chickens were and how you kind of look after them and have them around and what you do with them before we got them, but he actually super fell in love with them, and now they are his babies, and it's going to be really hard for him to part with a few of the babies because undoubtedly we will not be able to keep all of them, and quite a few of them will be roosters as the hatching rate goes and as the percentage goes, it's kind of like 50-50 chance of getting hens to the roos. So that's that. There are honestly so many things, and if you have any questions, please leave them below and I'll try and answer them as I go. This is maybe the second part in a little chicken series. But yeah, we love them. One of the ducks is actually just stretching. They just chill up there with a little pool. They're gonna wait until I bring them in. But they're honestly just so gorgeous, and you can like hear them chirping away. Some of them are actually sitting underneath her right now. That's one of the things that amazes me, is because she can have all 7 of them underneath her and she still manages to like sleep. They'll just kind of all be in there together, and sometimes maybe you can see. Hopefully you can see this, but she actually has 3 underneath her right now. One that is probably 3 to 4 weeks old, and the other 2 are probably 2 weeks old, maybe 1 to 2. They're still very small, but she's just sitting or standing. I'm not really 100% sure, but yeah, she's keeping them nice and cozy, looking after them, sheltering them, and she'll do that literally all night and all day if she has to, especially when they're tiny like that. She probably has quite a few underneath her as well. This one was just asleep. You can see how she's looking around and she's scanning for predators constantly. They also really don't like being picked up or anything at the moment. They usually love snuggles. We actually love bringing them inside and having a cuddle with us. We'll wrap them up in a sheet and they'll just go to sleep, and it's so gorgeous. They are so fluffy and so chill, and they're just absolutely amazing. Yeah, I love chickens. So if any of you are becoming crazy chicken people, no judgments here. Please drop your stories below, drop your questions below. And we'll continue on this series as we go and as we expand. You can see another one's kind of popped out. There you go. She actually has quite a few underneath there. She does have 7 babies. I think she hatched 2 or 3 of them, and the rest were surrogate children, I guess. At some point, they will just walk up the ladder and they will go into the little coop. They'll probably sit in the little corner where they're really protected. Sometimes she does sit there so she can look out and actually watch. She used to do that quite a bit when she was just with the black one. It was just them 2 in this coop. This was our first coop. That was our second one for the duckies, and we actually have another one. That is another thing. You do need to be aware of the costs of, yes, the vet costs and the feed, buying them, but also buying their shelter and keeping it safe, keeping them away from predators. It needs to be completely fox proof, snake proof. It really depends on where you live, but it needs to be proof of everything, really. But yeah, they're so cute. There you go, you can see them walking up. So they'll meander around a little bit and they'll just settle underneath her for the night. They might not be doing it because I'm sitting here, so they're a little bit more aware and wary, but they are just sitting there. I'm going to get eaten alive by mosquitoes, but these are our babies and we love them so much. We don't have like the hugest yard, but we do have a pretty substantial yard, which we are very happy about, but we do need a lot more space for what we want to do, and of course we do want to get like goats and some other things, but for now, yeah, I guess we'll leave you to it. Any more questions, pop them below. I'll see you next time, guys.